Yes, welcome to Keeping the Ball on the Ground. Before we get started, we're delighted to say that today's show is sponsored by NordVPN. Whoa. With a very special offer for our audience at home, Paul.
No way.
Would you like to hear about it?
Absolutely.
NordVPN provides a safe software service that allows you to stream content like movies and sports that wouldn't usually be available in this country.
You're joking.
You've been using it, haven't you?
It's the sports documentaries that have got me very intrigued through Hulu and HBO Max. They've been unbelievable. Have you been watching them?
I love a sports documentary.
The best.
What ones have you been watching?
My favourite one, Simon, I watched the other with Serena Williams, being Serena. To be her where her dad brought her up to be this success. It wasn't a tennis coach, it was her father that brought her up to be this wonderful champion that she is. And the American football series, Hard Knocks, which I love, as I said, that's right up there with the best things I've ever seen.
The best thing about it, Slaney, is it's legal as well.
Yeah.
So use the proper channels by using NordVPN, ensuring protection against issues like hacking. Hate hackers, do you?
Shockers.
Ross Totally was a hacker, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Hacked me, my debut, I ruined my career, Simon.
Exactly. So here's the offer. To celebrate NordVPN's birthday, you can get 70% off.
Wow.
The 2-year deal plus 1 month free and a surprise gift. Oh. Using nordvpn.com/opengoal and using your coupon code OpenGoal.
OpenGoal. Is it hard for you, Simon, to talk about basketball because you love your basketball and your height didn't quite reach the basketball, didn't it? No.
Nah, you had to go on your shoulders, didn't you? What was that over your shoulders?
3-pointer, Simon, wasn't it? Unbelievable.
What's happening, lads? How we doing?
Bad morning.
Good.
Bad day.
What's up here?
Me and Simon went out, we walked in the West End and all the birds just, mate, all the birds were like, I love you, Si, and I was standing there.
2 birds.
But still, mate. Is it genuinely as if they didn't know I was there, wasn't
But they said they're boyfriends like you.
It's not as if you would have been standing out or anything, no.
Give us a wee, why don't you give us a wee round the front?
I can't say because I've not got my
Trousers on?
My shoes on. You know what I mean? Bogging trainers.
But they'll not see your trainers.
No, they'll not see the trainers, they'll only see the suit.
I'll do it as
you
a show.
can't wear that and no gear performance, will it?
So I'll put a performance on during the show.
Yeah!
That's not even staged enough.
Empty fuck.
Yeah, do you know what? I'll put a wee performance on as a show. I need to let myself get into it, Simon. I mean, I can't just go all steam ahead and then bum and crash. I need to let the show go, sorry.
Kev, if you're wondering what that smell is up there, he had his furry little feet on that table, so I would watch what you put your hands.
It's a bit steel down here. Very steel.
But that's killed me, that. Never under the balls do that. Me claws, wasn't it?
I'm surprised you're surprised at that, Slaney.
I know, but I've literally just been talking about how I feel as if your confidence, your arrogance is back. Look at you, mate. You look tremendous.
Unbelievable. Thanks. You didn't say it when you first walked in the door. You said like that. You said I look absolutely shite. The first words that came out your mouth.
It's because he's got product in his hair this week.
I've changed. I'm confident now.
But because you weren't getting recognised, you were going to put it.
Honestly, I swear to God.
I can't believe how much that hurt you.
But you would admit it's the way it was done though. I shouted out the window at first. And then he just didn't bother with me, so we move on, Andrew.
Big birthday, Mr. Ainsley Harriott.
Wow.
Happy birthday, what a man.
What age is he now?
I think he's nearly hitting his 60s, so Ready Steady Cook, one of the best shows of all time.
Red apples, green tomatoes?
No, it was actually green peppers or red tomatoes.
Fuck knows.
He used to put a picture of his.
I was waiting for something to fall down.
Fucking hit you with me, didn't it? What a bad plan, yeah, man.
Put the shoes on, that'll make you feel better.
I'll get the shoes on in a minute, Simon. Let me build up.
Right, boys, did you watch the final?
Aye, I did.
Enjoy it?
Nah.
Before we start, we need to say we've spoken to the boy for the first half. It's on a drip in the hospital, but 6 to 8 weeks is going to be it. The first half was a hard watch, wasn't it?
First half was fucking murder. I'm surprised I actually gave it to the second half, but the second half was better in terms of Johnson played really, really well. Really impressed with how they popped the ball about. Didn't even give Livingston a sniff, because you could just see that Livingston were trying to look for that one set piece where they could maybe get a wee flick on or a knockdown and get something, because they certainly didn't create anything. But I suppose when you're playing Marvin Bartley left wing back, you're not going to really create much down that side.
Davy Martindale should get his coaching badges taken off him for that.
Well, I don't know. I can understand why he's put him there, because he's obviously trying to nullify the threat of
Sean Rooney.
But Marvin Bartley is just giving you nothing there, and that's not his fault. That's the manager's fault. He picked that selection.
I know, but why do that, Andy?
I don't know.
Livingston are 5th, 4th in the league. St Johnstone are 6th. Why change for them? Why not try and implement how you've played? Because you went 14 games unbeaten playing a certain way. Why not just stick to that?
Plus, it was as if he's like trying to experiment. You don't really experiment. I can't find with the year, but first half I think was nervy, wasn't it? It was a nervy affair both teams. And St Johnstone second half deserved it. They've been playing well for a while, haven't they?
They're up there with Nord
Oh, NordVPN, oh my God, they're on fire, man. It's brilliant. Drew with Diageo during the week.
Did it? What was it? Scored on?
That's the first point.
No, cancel each other out. Two of them are just too good.
That's the first point. Diageo's dropped on it.
Aye, well, they've no lost. They've no lost for a year.
Yeah, so
and then they've
that's a massive result. What did they do to be home on the bus again?
By the way, what you got?
But Chris Kane, man, honestly,
tireless.
Oh, you could hold a bank up with a water pistol up. He's held up with tremendous.
He was good. I thought
very good.
Reece Witherspoon's boy done well as well. Davy, he was good.
Aye, he did. What a pub. What a pub. But aye, it was a nervy affair. But congratulations to St Johnstone. Obviously, it's like the second cup win in the last 10, 15 years. So.
And Livingston obviously went to the game in motors. Drinking that had an effect. What kind of motor drink Davy Martindale's got? It's definitely a Skoda.
Skoda, wee manky Skoda. Certainly.
Honk if you're horny on the back.
Aye.
Supposedly Callum Davidson parked behind him.
Then we Alan Forrest popped his head out.
He's got the eyelashes on the
side.
No, Simon, what I must say, and I'm surprised we haven't covered it yet, is how that game wasn't on the BBC. I think that's an absolute disgrace, Andrew.
Premier Sport it was on, wasn't it?
Aye, a national final, Simon. We all know that fans can't get to the stadium now, and that game should have been put on. And I think, see if we were the BBC, right, or we'd shown the finals all the time, like sports scene, if it was open goal, there ain't no way anybody's coming in and taking that final off us. Do you know what I mean? So I think they had to do merit.
So do you blaming the BBC?
I think so. And I think they've laid down, Simon, and let them come in and take the final off. I was really disappointed.
What person in particular at BBC Giants laid down?
JS, and I know who it is. And I don't want to go into too much people, Simon, but on the, I think that's the Premier Sports actually done me a favour, the game on that, because I've not got that. So I didn't.
Tell me about on Premier Sports, Steve Lovell's jeans.
With the
Stuart Lovell.
Stuart Lovell, what his name is. His jeans, talk to me about them.
Well, I've never seen them. What with the boot cut?
Boot cut, baggy, faded right down the middle. Oh, fucking shocking. Voy.
If you're slaughtering his gear, it must be bad, big man.
It's horrific.
But Callum Davidson as well, winning the final in Tommy Wright's suit. Fair play to him.
Aye, it was. Aye. I wonder where they got that suit with Jenks then.
Definitely been in, just left in St Johnstone manager's office, wasn't it? And he just put it on. No, listen, good on him.
And by the way, he's ruthless, Callum Davidson.
Is he?
See, the week before, mate, the boy in Nell Ahmed scored an absolute belter against Motherwell, and he dropped him for the final, put Conway back in. So maybe, I don't think he's the man that you think he is.
No, he's certainly
good manager.
He's certainly put
Jenks and Johnson, the best set piece team in the world.
100%.
Aye, they are.
Aye, they're good.
Delivery's always good. They've always got about 8 bodies attacking the ball.
The back three are monsters, mate, and Rooney's a monster as well.
Right wing back's a monster. But see, to be fair, credit to both teams for getting there. It's not easy to get to a final, and I should know what losing a final's like. So feel for Livy, but St Johnstone will be winners.
But Kev, for me, St Johnstone have got a few players that can go and play higher.
I think, see Rooney, right? I was checking his history last night. He started off at Queen's Park, and he was 16 years old or something. He made his debut.
Right.
And he's only like 24 or something. He's played quite a lot of games.
Was it Inverness as well, wasn't he?
Aye, Inverness. Centre-half. He started off at centre-half and he was playing obviously right wing-back yesterday, but big man's got good feet. And what I like the most about him, he's aggressive, a proper, like, when it comes to defending, heads it clear so you can trust him that way, but when attacking, like the goal he scored yesterday and goals that he scored recently, just goes for it, absolutely. And I don't know, I think Witherspoon, decent.
Very
boy
good.
Kane, like, see if I don't know how tall he is or how. What could you
He's not tall. He's not tall. Aye.
See his hold-up play, brilliant. His awareness, getting his body in the right positions, making it difficult for defenders where they had to foul him, linking up, making good. And see, Johnson, I think, had they been a bit more cute on the final third, they probably could have won the game with 2 or 3. It was a final ball let them down. And the boy in goals for Livy McCrory, he'd actually know a bad game to be fair to him.
St Johnstone's back three though, I think are very good.
Aye, you're talking about aggressive. I wouldn't fancy playing up front against any of them.
No.
And see, to be fair, the big boy at Livy, Guthrie, I know he's a monster as well. And the boy Rooney's just held him off for the corner, done
Mate,
so
Rooney
well.
looks like a screwball, doesn't he? He looks like he goes his holidays in Iraq, man.
I think he could be. He's someone that I look and having watched some St Johnstone games this year, I think he could go again.
Yeah, so
I think he could definitely get a move.
Get a Scotland call up.
I think he could, mate.
I
think
think
Stephen O'Donnell's he's not playing just now. Whether I think he's been suspended. Been all right, but Rooney's fine.
I'm not going to say he's going to maybe get the heights of a Scotland call-up, but if we see sometimes what Ollie McBurney puts in performances in Scotland, he's way more aggressive in that role than what McBurney is for me sometimes. They actually could be brothers.
You talking about Rooney or Kane?
Rooney. Kane, who are we talking about here?
Well, Rooney plays right. Rooney plays right wing back. Kane plays.
I know, but Rooney. Aye, Kane.
So Rooney up top for Scotland.
Rooney up top. Not a problem. There you go.
Forrest at the back.
We've had worse number 9s.
Yeah, Forrest at the back, Rooney up top.
Aye.
Aye, well, you had Jamesy Ford as centre half.
Firmino and Kebamba at the back.
Aye.
Just get big Rooney up top.
Totally missed that point there, so I did. Sorry. Start again. No Kane up for Scotland, but big Rooney in terms of how he's performed. He, like you say, could go again, and he could potentially. Who knows? Why not? Kane. I was impressed with Kane.
Drinking the motor on the way there, and anyone was farting like Souness's missus. Did you hear him on the kit?
That was incredible, wasn't it? Wait, I was in tears at that one. No, Simon.
Who looks like a fart on that Livingston team?
Martindale's will be stinking a curry, won't it? Just pure. Tikka masala and a beer, man. Night before. Rotten his house
A
out.
big Donna Hogan.
I think Martindale just sits and just be like a white vest, don't just like kebab meat or it. No, listen, the man he's incredible. But
He's done a great
But
job.
what I'm going to say is on the man, Simon, I believe you can overthink things and you can build it up.
Maybe try being too clever, Paul.
You can. I mean, he was talking about it for a long time since they got there. And you can build it up actually too much, and it's a bit of a letdown. Sometimes the best things are just off the cuff, Simon, as we all know. So I think he's maybe. I didn't see the game, Simon, because I couldn't. You know what I mean? I tried to watch it live.
What were you doing?
Sorry, well, wait here, but I tried to watch it live, like with the family, nobody alive. And things kept.
An illegal stream?
No.
Alright.
Not VPN. It was.
No,
No,
VPN,
but I think, Simon, it was somebody told me it was a live link, but it kept coming up. Fucking no joke. Are you interested in over 75-year-old woman? And Simon, the thing is, I ended up clicking on it, and I was, and Simon right on it, and messaging him. So
And what was he, a Diana Wig?
very high heels on the wee man, but no, listen. No, Simon, not at all. No. Hey.
Oh wow! Amazing, man.
Who's done that for you?
It was an artist, Geo art, innit? Geo
How much
art.
did that cost you, bro?
It was a few K. I don't want to go too higher up because it isn't just a few K, Simon. It's really, really up. And I don't want to go into it all the day. I'm sitting relaxed and unbelievable art, Simon, for the man. And you see, blotch you a wee bit in the skin.
He's got you spawned and the furry feet.
And the funny things just coming out. It's absolutely brilliant. And if you notice, Simon, no package whatsoever. No, but listen, Simon, absolutely brilliant.
Was that a Tokyo game?
I was a talking
Look at the fear in your face, man.
Mate, if you just painted about here, totally would have just been like that. You cut your
Just stunning behind you like.
We actually need to get Big Gio to draw paint totally behind us.
Oh, amazing. Kev, I need to ask you, Kev, Livy changed jet for 20 minutes. Is that usually how long it takes for you to change it?
I thought the Jet would have started. I think he could.
See if you were going to do, sorry to interrupt you, but see that role Marvin Bartley done? Why could the Jet not have done that? Give you an attacking option as well.
I think Davy Martindale looked back and think he got it totally wrong. The Jet could have potentially gave that back three of St Johnson a wee bit more trouble than what they actually had, because I think it was comfortable for them. I don't know, I just, like you said the other side, why did Livy change to suit St Johnstons? They just have done what they've done the last 14 games. They just went for whatever they're doing. But regrets, they got to a final.
Have you ever had that where you went in like a massive game and the manager's just fucked you out of position? Still worst, man.
Semi-final or the FA Cup final, Mick McCarthy got a few things
Well, you
wrong.
played in the wait a minute. You played in the semi-final of the FA Cup,
Aye.
mate. Why do you never tell us this shit?
Because I forgot.
What
Old
happened?
Trafford, 70,000, and you know who we were playing to? Fucking Millwall.
Man United?
Millwall.
Oh, Millwall, sorry.
Millwall, we lost 1-0.
because they got to the
Tim
final,
Cahill.
Kev, didn't they?
got to the
They played
final.
it,
And Mick McCarthy, fucking, he got a few things wrong that day. Changed
that's
players
it.
about.
They
just
played
to
Man U,
suit-
didn't they, in the
and then
final?
Millwall played Man U, aye.
So wait, where did you need to play wide?
No, I was up front, but just I gave away the ball. I was playing well. I was really playing well, and with about 20 minutes, half an hour to go, I tried to cut one inside, and it got interrupted. It got intercepted, and Mick lost the fucking plot, and he lost the plot that much. He took the huff with me and brought me off.
Wow.
Well, because you gave the ball away once.
He was fucking boiling because they nearly scored. Like, he was redder than some parts of Slaney's suit. He was fucking boiling.
Something else then?
No, I wouldn't have said your face because
Thanks, Kevin.
nothing can be as red as that. But he was boiling and he just took me half in the half. Because I remember asking him years later, I says, why did you take me half? So I just took the fucking half. I was in the moment and that. And then I remember afterwards, it was, I think Sir Alex was watching the game and Dennis Wise and thing. He says, your gaffer won us the game today, took you half.
Really?
So it happens. Sometimes you get wrapped up in the moment, Si, where you think in your head that something might change, make things better, and it doesn't.
You had that, Andy?
We were the FA Cup quarters.
Why?
Obviously, when we beat.
You're fucking hopeless. You've got to go the other way.
So obviously,
Who was that with?
So with Bradford, when we beat Millwall, and then we beat Chelsea, and then we beat Sunderland. So we beat 2 Prem and a Championship team.
Wow.
Got to the FA Cup quarters, the teams that were left was like Man City, Liverpool, and we got done Reading. We get the best possible draw you could get. Reading
At Reading?
home, not at home.
Yours, right?
So we were like, we're getting to the FA Cup semis here. And every time we played at home, we just played the same way. I've told you this before, the pitch was terrible. So we used to just play in teams half. Teams would try and play half, we'd nick it half them and score. So we battered Reading at home, absolutely battered them, but drew 0-0. Ended up going to their pitch. And any time we played away, we were just dogged. We would just sit in, defend, try and hit teams like out, touch, go for a set piece. And Phil Parkinson, Reading away, try to start fast, press high, play high, and have a go at them. We get beat 3-0. So I don't think personnel got wrong, but he should have just played the way we played the full season and how we got good results. So that was probably a bit of a regret. Because see, to be honest, I fancied us to beat Reading all day, and we get absolutely battered.
So what was that for the first leg?
Sorry?
What did you win the first leg? What was the score first leg?
No, it was 0-0.
So
it was a replay.
Right.
It was a replay away there.
Oh, right, okay.
See, obviously you do coaching side and you're always talking about like changing formations to suit teams. See if you're a team and you set up the same way all the time, and obviously people can identify that, but see if you do it well and you do your role better than the other team, it doesn't matter what they do.
No, I wouldn't have changed for it.
Like,
unless you're playing a team
Man City don't change to play Liverpool or Man United. They still play the same way, but what they do is they make sure they do it to the peak ability that they can, and it overrides anything that's in front of them.
I hate when managers do that, Kev. We're going to change the day because they do this.
Because they do this.
Especially when it's a team in the same league as you. Especially, see if I'm a Livy player and St Johnstone are 3 places underneath us and we're changing for them, I'm thinking...
I remember years ago we played, it was on the route to the FA Cup quarter-final. The quarter-final we played Sheffield United. Was it Sheffield United? I think it was Sheffield United. And my ex-teammate Paul Farwell played with Sheffield United, and he phoned me up like a couple of days before and says, all we're doing all week is working on fucking shape, how to stop Kevin Kyle, because Neil Warnock fucking loves you, and that's all he's doing. He's talking about, we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll do this. Turned up for the game and I was fucking on the bench. So the game went to pot, but I came on and scored anyway. So
Brilliant, big man.
I was going to say, any of your 30 games that you played like that?
The only semi I played with, I was up my room with Big Brother. No, Simon, listen, that'll never go down, Simon. That's one of the best days of my life, but I will never class myself as a Celtic player, because I always said it, and it's me talking for the heart here, you must play 100 games. John Clark always said, when you can call yourself a Celtic player is when you've played 100 games. No, anybody can come on now and again, and listen, I deserve to get on that pitch that day, but unfortunately things unfolded, and that's it.
Right, okay.
Thanks.
But you were definitely a worthy one, weren't you?
Oh, love it.
What was it like when you were 16 with all that pressure?
Tough, Simon. I always say that, didn't I? Just say it's tough.
Is that your debut picture? Like debut? No.
Aye.
Is it?
Aye.
So where's that going to go in the house?
We had it up in the front in the living room.
Did you?
Above the telly. I took the big picture down the head.
What picture was there
My
before?
dad and my naked just lying there. My mum was that side and my dad was that side. It was a cracking picture for the family to walk in and see it. And
Was it the same guy that painted your
he
man?
painted that one, so we get in touch. He was really good at it. He got his
Ross Totally behind the two now.
Did that? The two of them.
Did they have football bits on as well, your mum and dad?
She certainly had 2 big studs, Simon, in it.
We didn't even go into the topics yet.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Metals are molds.
She had metal tips. Yeah, and my dad had a mold on. Rubbish crap. Really.
That was good.
That was alright. That was alright. No, but seriously, back to normality, Simon.
Right, Andy, Kev, we've not had a chance to speak to you about Neil Lennon's departure. Would you just make it? Kev, we'll start with you, mate.
No surprise, because I think the pressure was mounting. And whether he's sacked or departed himself, only time will tell if anything comes out, if he says anything. But I didn't like how he said there was unbelievable circumstances as to why things in the season's mitigating circumstances. I'd love to know what they were. I'm sure everybody would love to know what they were. But
it was a hair gel, wasn't it?
Aye.
Gary Parker gel in his hair.
Aye, there's something not right there. But ultimately, I think it's good for him. He's done his bit for Celtic. You know, in time, Celtic fans would appreciate Neil Lennon as a player, as a manager, and that'll take time. But at this moment in time, that can be good for your health and your lifestyle, going home and feeling that pressure all the time. It's fuck that.
Why do you think it never worked out for him?
Do you know what, Si? I think he was too late in making a gamble with changes. Instead of just saying, right, use tried and tested players that I'm trying to trust, he's only fucking doing it for me. Popped them out, and he maybe should have put in Turnbull and Sorrow and tried maybe young Hendry way at the beginning, and maybe they might not have got as far behind. You know, when I think it was like December before they played Rangers, was taught to beat Rangers, blah blah blah. But even when they lost to Rangers, Rangers were still going to drop points at some point. Like, I know they're still undefeated and they potentially could go in front of the season without losing. But even dropping 2 points at a time, if Celtic could have kept in touch, they would have had an opportunity. But he waited and waited and waited, and then once he got Turnbull and Sorrow into the team, the team started to change a wee bit. They started to put in better performances.
Still waiting to see young Henry. Who's that?
No, Hendry, what do you call the boy? Welsh, sorry.
I thought Jack.
I know you're the
Welsh, the boy at centre half.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that maybe loyalty to the crowd of players that brought success maybe was too prolonged.
You get go along that, Andy?
Aye. I think it's been something that's been spoken about for so long now, to the point it was a bit of a shock to some people that it didn't happen in January, but when it didn't, I just thought he was going to get sort of the backing and the support to go to the end of the season. So I think maybe a wee bit surprised at the timing. But first things first, I wish him well. Must have been a hard year for him. Somebody that's got Celtic in his DNA, and you see how much he loves and supports the club. And like Kev says, down the line, there's no doubt people are going to have so many fond memories with Neil Lennon. But I think as much as Celtic fans, Celtic players, he's had as tough a time as any of them. And no doubt he's gone home and struggling with results and the expectation. And he'll have a sort of feeling that he's let people down this year as well. But he's got time to go and relax with his family and look to the future. But
Do you think he'll stay in management?
Well. He's definitely. I think he'll definitely get another job. Aye.
Have you got an ad? You've not really spoke. Have you spoke about it much?
On the Cooper show, we've done a big bit. Listen, I think we all know Simon.
You just copied everything Frank said, didn't you?
After 8 minutes. So no, listen. I think it's what Andrew said there. I'm a wee bit surprised that he went when he did. I think that should have probably happened, even if there wasn't a manager out there. That you got somebody in. Around about, it could have been as far back as October, but it hadn't been, and I thought that it looked like he was staying to the end of the season, but no, Simon, I think his time is settled.
Do you think, Slaney, question, if it had changed in January or Christmas time, do you think a new manager would have got a kick out of the players they had, or do you think Lenny was the right man to be kept in the role?
No, I think a new manager would have certainly. I'm a great believer, Simon. I always think when new managers come in, they make a massive difference. It changes the whole mindset, even getting into training. And I'm not saying Neil Lennon was that it was causing it all, but it's just a change. It's a change of voice, it's a change of this. Of course, it would need to be good. You're still stuck with Barkas and stuff in goal. You've not got a brilliant goalkeeper there, but I think a change certainly would have helped.
I think he was let down with some players. I think some players underperformed to the levels that they
they've all 100%. Every one of them though.
No, just a difficult one.
The players as well this season.
You can't sack 11 players, unfortunately, and pay them off. The manager always was the one that succumbs to the disaster. But I think in the circumstances at that time, had they got a new manager in, he still had to deal with those players that Lenny was working with. And how do all of a sudden you turn them around, get them on your side? And who was the manager that was available at that time to bring a change? But Neil Lennon, for me, he'll be back in football at some point. but just go and have a break, enjoy it, man, because that's been a tough year. Think of it, like, the success will always outweigh, like, if we talk about the cup final at the beginning of the show, St Johnstone's was the second most successful team in the country in the last 5 years for trophies. So that shows you the dominance that Celtic's had. It's come to an end, but football changes from year to year. It does.
And the way it's done, that's not acceptable. The way it's came to an end. That's certainly.
What do you mean?
Well, it's fine. Listen, if Rangers went on win the league this year, and it was, you were putting a fight up, but you've literally, the league's been over for almost December. That's not acceptable for Celtic. So, listen, I agree, it can't go on forever, but there's no way a season like this should ever happen at Celtic.
You say like a new manager, they got a bounce in that, so they get a new manager, John Kennedy takes him. For me,
did you see it was
exact same as it's been all year.
I've never known a Celtic team, and it might be hard without Forrest injured and maybe Mikey Johnson no fit or whatever. I've never known a Celtic team to go through a whole season no playing wide players. I hate it. We've grown up Celtic.
Again, why don't sign wide players in the summer?
I mean, I hope they didn't think El Yunusi was a wide player.
He's not a wide player, is he? He's not pace.
So, for me, there's never been a successful team.
Who plays a diamond? Who's ever won any and played a diamond?
There's no wing players, wide players. I don't know if you can prove me wrong there, but any top team always play. They might either come in, but you still have wide players there. And I've never grown up known a Celtic team never to have wide players in the team for so long this season. Could be right.
They need to appoint somebody quickly and take their time and get the right man.
The season is done, innit? Obviously, Rangers are going to go in. I think the business has to get done early, but I don't think it needs to be done now. I think going into the summer as soon as possible. That's why the recruitment process for the next manager should be starting now. But I don't think they're in any rush to get somebody in before the season ends. I just think they need to make sure they get the right appointment going into the summer. Try and get somebody, a new manager, the right man to come in early to do their business as soon as possible. Because I always think that must be important as a manager. Because it must be so difficult, I think, for a new manager to come in and say you've got a 6-week pre-season. You're implementing your style of play in 6 weeks. Every player needs to understand how you want the team to play going into a season. You want to try and get your business done. I've heard the word rebuild literally for the last 4 months. If there's going to be a rebuild at Celtic, they need to try and get as much as that rebuild in as possible to just try and kickstart everything and get their message across. It must be hard for a manager if you're trying to get in a new style of play, something different to what Lenny was doing last year. But because the Euros is on, and you're maybe not getting 2, 3, 4 players that you want, and maybe the Euros is done, and then before you know it's 2 weeks before the end of the season. So I think the recruitment process should be starting now, but I think it's probably more important to get the right man rather than.
So your problem is see Rangers know exactly what type of player they need because of the style of play. How do you say know what players to sign right now if they don't know what way a new manager?
But see the thing, see when Gerrard got the job, right? I don't know this for a fact, by the way, but I was told a good 6 weeks before he was the manager that it was done.
So you think people know in the background?
I think in the background, Celtic will have a target. Maybe not right now, but eventually they will have a target, and that guy will be all but done except for the pen on the paper, basically.
But you know yourself, Andy, would that guy not need to actually see these players in training and decide who he wants to keep in the way he's going to play?
But it's like you said, I think he'll be more focused on what he feels he already needs, having watched previous Celtic games. Because if he gets a job, he's going to watch the games, isn't he? And he'll probably get a good sense of what he needs moving forward. And then he'll start trying to think of who can bring in before he can think of who can get out.
See, do you think, I don't want to keep throwing these names out. See guys like Edward, Ayer, I'm just saying because it's the better players. Let's say McGregor, Christie. Do you think their minds made up that even if a new manager comes in, they still want to leave? Let's say Edward. See if a manager...
Yeah, I think Edward will be away.
Aye.
Think so?
I think he'll be away.
And I think that's why you probably don't need to rush a manager in the new, because I don't think a manager coming now is going to change Ayer's mind, whatever, if Edward's mind.
But does he not need to come in and have a look at Klimala, Ayeti and Griffiths and decide if they're...
I would on your points, I would agree with you. I think a manager needs to come in soon. And it's not just a case of, I understand what Andy's saying in terms of watching the games up to now. You need to go in there and see what kind of individual they are, what kind of character did they take to you. Edward will get a move. Ayer will probably get a move somewhere, or there'll be interest. The likes of Christie, McGregor, potentially maybe would like a move. Whether that happens or not is a different story. So you need to really, I think, get a manager in so that he can suss out the place, get a vibe of what's needing and start this process early, because see if you leave it too late, you're going to end up playing a catch-up game. A manager, the whole thing, because see, for me it's like somebody said it there, the Euros. The Euros is going to cause every time a Euros or World Cup comes on, it causes a delay in signings.
And probably puts people's value up.
And puts people's value up. So somebody who you might like might go and hit. So let's say an example, right? Somebody that Celtic's interested in, or interested. Aye, right. Goes and has an unbelievable Euros. Somebody who you get for maybe 2-3 million quid all of a sudden needs to be 10 million quid because a team in England starts showing interest. Whereas, but at the same time, it maybe works the other way. Somebody who is maybe on the periphery on the Euros, that's in the squad, but maybe gets on a wee bit here and there. So it's a tough one, but I would, if I were a Celtic fan, I would like to see a manager get in and try and get the business end of things started.
Well, here's one.
We do what they don't need and try and start getting what they do need.
You cannot appoint a manager right now if he's already in another job.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
So do you think they're looking at somebody that's in another job?
Aye.
Could be.
Aye. More than likely, isn't it?
Who
Well, you tell me who's unavailable. You tell me who's not on a job right now that Celtic could go for, except for Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe would be the one I would go for.
You would go for?
I'd go for Eddie Howe. I wouldn't have went for him this season because the pressure, I think maybe the pressure of 10 in a row. I think you're getting him 2 or 3 years working with a director of football. I think Eddie Howe's the type you should go for.
I'll change my answer. Don't change my opinion, but I'll change my answer. If they feel the right man's unavailable, then get him in now. But I still think it's more important that they get the right man, and if that right man they feel's in a job, I don't think there's any rush to do it right now.
So have you got any names for us that you think could be getting looked at?
I think Moisey, because there's some big hussies about.
Do you think the hussies in Glasgow are big enough?
Oh, aye.
Do you?
Aye, there'll be a couple for him.
Maybe.
He's want to buy Hampden and turn it into a house,
There's one next door here, he'd love that.
Who you thinking?
Can I just, before I go on that, we had a discussion on night, and I still find it quite, and it's not against the size of Celtic. Do you think Roberto Martinez would go to Celtic? Do you think that? I can't see that happening.
Only because I think he would like to get into club football, but
no,
he's managing the number one international team in the world. What if he goes and
Spurs,
what if he goes and wins the Euros? You're probably linking them to like
Barcelona, mate.
These types of jobs. Then
he's got too much of an opportunity with Belgium in this Euros to do something big. And if he does that, then his stock becomes quite high in the world football. Whereas you can't wait to somebody like that. Celtic need to be in there looking at. I've tried to look to see who's just out of job, who's young and up and coming, but.
Well, I think Lampard's one.
Lampard potentially could be. I know he doesn't know much about the Scottish game, but for me, you don't need to know about any level.
He's got Jody Morris though, Kev, who does know the Scottish game.
Of course he does. I just think you need to know how to play good football and get fans excited by what you put on the park. He'll know. For me, when Steven Gerrard turned up for Rangers, for me, the name Steven Gerrard was what would attract players to the club at Rangers. It would be like, I'm going to get in there and work with Gerrard. That's a big pull. And I think Celtic need to go down that same line as somebody that, I'd love to work with him. You know what I mean? Like when Brendan Rodgers signing players wasn't a problem. Somebody who players will think, fucking hell, I would like to go and work under.
That's your problem at Celtic just now. So they've signed the boy Shaw, right? Who's played with Sheffield United. What happens if a new manager comes in and says, the boy Shaw? I don't want a centre midfielder that plays like him.
I know. So what's the point of signing him? Sheffield Wednesday.
Celtic signed the boy Shaw for Sheffield Wednesday.
I've never even seen that.
No,
he has.
But that's what I'm saying. So you're signing boys here. What happens if a new manager comes? He plays defensive midfield. He runs about tackling people. He says, I don't want somebody that does that. I want somebody that goes and gets on the ball. So who are you signing these players for?
Well, if that's the case, I'd imagine it's the boy Nicky Hammond that's made that signing. So
but why? On what purpose? Because Nicky Hammond thinks he's a good player, but a manager might not.
Recruitment.
Yeah, but a lot of
the new man comes in.
The way footballers knew the manager doesn't have the final say.
I know, but I think a manager would go and say, "Give me a type like this, a type I want."
I think I know with Martinez, like he'll want to know what type of music players listen to.
And the changing room.
I think that's why he loves the Belgium job.
Jason Derulo, they love
playing time for gigs and that, and go to concerts.
Can you please do the Martinez dance with that suit on? But what was it again?
It was like that, mate. It was proper, pure digging in. I mean, I can't believe he got away with it.
Was Sean behind him when he was doing it?
He was.
Sean's tight with Big Schnoz.
John Kennedy?
Big Schnoz.
Is there any way, there's another question for you, is there any way John Kennedy gets it?
No.
Nah, I'd be surprised. But see, generally, right, I'm a wee bit shocked. I know you might have different opinions. The amount of stick John Kennedy's taking is harsh.
We said that, mate. A coach can only do so much.
Plus, and every single person I've talked to that worked with him all say how good a coach he is. That doesn't mean he's a good manager, right? It's two different things. But he's very highly thought of and respected. So maybe...
I think the one, Andy, and I agree with 100% there, because John Kennedy was a centre half, people say, how the fuck are the defence?
That's a load of rubbish. If you're a coach, doesn't matter what position you play. You should know every fucking position.
Aye.
See, when coaches get praised and like highly thought of, I think that's down to like their training sessions or class where you turn up and think, fucking hell, he puts on some right good sessions, or you think,
it's the information,
coaches,
isn't it?
Aye.
It's the information they're getting out.
What would you class as like a quality coach? Somebody that, what is it that they do
Clarity.
that makes you think, fucking hell, he's a top coach?
Aye.
Is it information or is it or
just
is
clarity?
it drills?
You go on the
A lot
pitch
of
knowing
times-
exactly what you expect.
See, a bad coach, right? A bad coach a bad coach doesn't convince a player that they know what they're talking about. If that makes sense. But if a good coach is talking to you, you believe in everything he's saying. Do you know what I mean? You believe like, oh, that's what we need to win games.
When Andy Millen was the AR assistant, he used to say the same thing. He says, see, football players, as stupid as everybody thinks they are, when it comes to football, they know a fraud.
Yeah.
And we used to hear a couple of coaches at AR that maybe weren't at the heights we'd like to have been. So when they put on drills and stuff, it was fucking shite.
I think you could tell a coach from the first
and
session
that's what you would class the frauds. But no, I think it's just an interesting thing, because obviously it's been a while since I've kicked the ball and understood what coaches do. But like Ian Dowie was information all the time, constant information. And I liked that because...
Constantly brushing his hair, wasn't he?
Fucking constantly scared the shit out of you.
Do you know what I've absolutely loved? First part of the show was nothing short of comedy genius, and then now it is intellectual.
You're getting both sides of it.
I think we're very good at switching up for that, aren't we?
You don't get that anywhere else.
And so what, you want to stay on the intellectual stuff, or you want to go back to the carry on?
Well, we'll go on to the Rangers, so the penalties certainly will be a carry on.
Just quickly on the third space, because Celtic played Aberdeen at the weekend. Does that give Aberdeen a wee bit of hope with Hibs getting beat at home for Motherwell?
No, it's a shock, wasn't it?
Shambles.
Motherwell.
Need to give Motherwell a bit of credit, because changed the way he's playing. We
Big
slaughtered
time.
him for it.
And I watched the game against St Mirren as well, and they were the better team.
To go more direct,
they were more direct. They played...
See, because again, Graham Alexander's watched the show, listened to what the lads are saying, unbelievable, and he's turned it round.
I think people do listen. I swear to God, I think the top people listen to it.
And then changed their style because of what we've said.
Mate, we're going to when we go to England, Mourinho. He played exactly the front three I told him to play. Bale, Son and Kane.
That's why they won 4-0. I was wondering that.
Or it was...
It's not rocket science, is it?
Exactly, Simon.
Alright, sorry Andy, Motherwell, Hibs there you were saying.
Aye, maybe, but I mean, I know they scored last week, but Aberdeen will be at a point where they just need to worry about themselves. Because if you're catching somebody, worry about your own games. If you win 80% of your games for now at the end of the season, there's probably a good chance you will finish third.
Yeah.
Again, it's another game they've not scored, but probably looked a wee bit more dangerous. But Ash Taylor's chance, 0-0's probably the biggest chance of the game, you've got to say. But again, with Aberdeen, great. Well, they were alright.
See, this is another part I want to say. See what you're saying about, again, Ash Taylor had 3 headers. Christopher Ayers, man of the match, he's linked to a big club. Doesn't defend corners.
I think that's...
Great at taking the ball out and passing, but you're not a midfielder, you're a centre half.
But it seems that now, Simon, and I've said it for years, it seems like now defending people don't actually look for that now. No, saying managers don't, but in the media, they're saying this is a brilliant player, if he's good on the ball and all that, he can play. The first and foremost, Simon, easy for me to say, is defending, and I think it's certainly coming out of the game a wee bit.
Aberdeen will take a lot of positives in the fact that, see, when it gets to the top 6 and they're playing teams run about them, Aberdeen have always been good at beating the type of teams. So they'll know that they've got a good chance. I probably still fancy Hibs to get it, to be honest, but they've definitely got a chance.
Disappointment.
I think Hibs. I think
that was a chance to go the full month and winning every game.
Hibs was.
Hibs was.
That's a shame for them. My heart bleeds for them. No, I think Hibs, that could be a good wake-up call for them, Simon, because they maybe just got a wee bit complacent, thinking that things were just going along too nice. But then again, saying that, Motherwell, if Motherwell had started the season better and played well, they would be up there challenging, but they got after a horrific start, change of manager, Stevie Robbins decided to go, and maybe that's the Motherwell that turned up on Saturday that should have been there all season. So it's not a shock, because Motherwell on their day can be a good side. I just think the Hibs maybe I think the boy Doige is it Doige? He's in the same bracket as fucking Firmino and big Kabamba. Aye, they're just
What a back
scared to
three
score
that is.
goals.
What a back three.
But then so's the boy Kane at St John's. I think it's a 13 game season he scored. I don't. Bit like myself back in the day. I was scared to score goals.
I've just got a wee problem though. So who do you put Nisbet back in? Do you stick with Boyle and Doige?
He put Nisbet back in.
You think?
Aye.
And take out Doige?
I think
Doige
Boyle.
does so much
Put Boyle back out.
Why you know? Is there no way they
been
can?
brilliant wing back, isn't he?
Is there no way they can get the three of them in?
Playing a 3-5-2, I don't think so. Okay, where else do you play Martin Boyle in a 3-5-2?
Is that no way you maybe try and think, like, we've had a defeat, let's just change, give things a wee different, a wee shake up, maybe play Doige up the middle, play Nisbet and Boyle off him?
To be fair, it's not a bad option to have. Got good attacking options, isn't it?
Because Doige is good with the whole link-up thing and causing problem and letting the others get on the ball. So maybe that is an option, I don't know.
Any input on this, Paul?
I don't know if I would love to get invited to the training ground actually to see if he coaches.
Who, Jack Ross?
I
I think he does coach, doesn't he?
I don't think he does.
Huh?
You said he was best
Coach in Britain.
in the league last year.
Did I?
Wait, what makes you think he doesn't coach?
I don't know. When I watch
His coaching's on Netflix, Lenny.
I think he does.
Sunderland
No, but I
documentary.
don't know if he's a coach or he's a manager. I'm not saying. I don't know if he goes out there and he's setting the team up exactly the way he wants to play. I don't know.
Come on, Sladey, give me a name. Who do you want for the next
Celtic job.
Celtic manager? Aye.
Celtic job?
Who do you want?
Stevie Frail.
Rooney.
Feed the Frail.
Leach?
Certainly not.
Frank.
That's a great question, Andrew. I love that.
It's one that you'd probably should be expecting, don't I? Who the next Celtic manager is going to be. Did you not expect that to come up
Such a
today?
massive job, Simon. I mean, biggest club in the world. You know what I mean?
So he's a name.
Henkes, Huip Henkes. Remember him?
No.
Aye.
Is Boken not had any?
Bayern Munich.
Aye.
What, is that not the old guy?
Some appointment that
He's
in
been
94.
retired for about
Aye.
10 years.
He's 94.
What about, has Boken not had any good managers that you liked? Your days at Boken, anyone you could recommend?
No, but they've got that style. Do you know what? Boca's actually more like Rangers.
Huh.
Don't really play attacking football at all. Attacking fitness more like. No, certainly, Simon.
Oh, he's tipped Sean Maloney.
I'd love to show him I want to get it. Aye. I honestly, I would. And I'd do want Maloney in.
Because you think there's a wee chance that you
Wee
could.
chance that I could creep in. But I can.
Fingers crossed for you, mate.
Do you think that Celtic need to get a name or just somebody?
Somebody that's good for the job, Kev. Eh?
Aye.
Right, we're on to Rangers. Andy, we'll start with you. Tuesday night. Good result, good performance again. How far can they go? Sorry, Thursday night.
Very good. Attacking wise, unbelievable. Some of the goals they scored, some of the passes they play. Truth be told, I still think they'll be disappointed, knowing what Gerrard's like and what Michael. I still think they'll be disappointed that conceded 5. In my opinion, I don't think. Listen, there's not any bad teams in Europa League, especially in the last 32. But Antwerp for me. I think Galatasaray were better.
Yeah.
And Rangers played Galatasaray in the qualifying rounds.
Couldn't have believed, mate, when they played it for the back against Rangers. Rangers just took the ball from up the pitch. And
Which is what I think. You're talking about how teams, play different ways against different styles or away from home at home. Rangers have done that brilliantly at home in Europa League, where the watch teams will see how they like to spread out and play out to the back and high press, and the amount of goals or chances created they've done for actually pressing high up the pitch. But Antwerp's game management for the first 10 minutes, where they were losing the ball by trying to thread balls into the centre mids, and instead of just either playing it long, because they had a big striker, a big target man up front, or trying to, because Rangers played a high line, play it in behind. They just sort of played into Rangers' hands. But
I need to ask
Rangers were the better
you,
team.
I've spoke to you obviously about the midfield movements, but I've never seen this before. So Antwerp played with a 3 in the middle of the pitch with a sitter. Usually any other team I've seen, one of the midfielders would go and mark the sitter, but if Hadji goes out that side, Kent goes in and marks the sitter.
Aye. And the only sort of ball they'll encourage is a big switch over to the far fullback.
I've never seen that before. Have you other than...
I have.
So see if you're playing against a free midfield and I'm playing it up against that free, if that guy gets the ball, usually one of my midfielders would go out and pick him up. Right. But Rangers midfield 3 stay like that, and it's the front 3 work it to mark that.
Do you want me to tell you who I've seen do it before? Steve Clark with Kilmarnock.
Does he?
Aye, so I played left back in the game. So I'll just ask you a question. If a centre half's passing me the ball, who do you think presses me?
So you're playing left back?
I'm playing left back.
Yeah, right midfielder, wasn't it?
Right midfielder. It was a right centre mid. So it used to be like Dicker, Power and Dishbo or something. It would be the right centre mid that would press. they would all shuffle across and they would just stand on sort of Ryan Kent as a sort of 2-on-1, and it was actually hard.
Where would the right player go?
It was hard to sort of play through because your only real pass would try and thread a whipped pass into the striker or sort of recycle it and start again, switch your play. So
Where would the right midfielder go?
Sort of stand on Kent's toes. So instead of him, because if the right midfielder pressed me, 9 times out of 10 I could
you just play around him.
I just play around him. So Steve Clark actually just told the right midfielder to stay on sort of Kenton's toes, and it would be the right side of mid that pressed. But anyway, back to that game. I've said that I do think Rangers can go far. Again, Slavia Prague will be a good team, but I still think it's a good draw. There was a lot of bigger names that they could have got. But some of the football they're playing in Europe has been ridiculous. The Kenty's goal, what a goal that was. Glenn Kamara threads in an unbelievable pass. Hadji gets on the half turn, plays in Alfredo. Alfredo was that's the best I've seen him for months.
I never thought he had that sort of performance in his locker, mate.
Eight goal involvements over the 2 legs. Like, unbelievable.
Everything was.
The Europa League does seem to get the best out of him as well, because he was unplayable over the 2 legs.
And he's got his hair fixed, makes a massive difference. His hair's actually.
He asked for a pulse line.
Kev, you impressed? Like Andy says, they need to get back to being defensively good. That's why
I think that's been the only question mark over the season, that when they've been put under pressure on the defence, they have given away goals. Not too many, because the goal difference speaks for that, but sometimes maybe is it because they're so dominant going forward that they do just switch off at the back, because they're all wanting a part of an assist or Tavernier go up and down wings and whatever, obviously. But for me, I just didn't, at the beginning when the draw was made, we didn't ever think that Rangers wouldn't get through the group. We all said that they would beat Antwerp quite comfortably, and then, like I say, a favourable draw. But it's good. I mean, they're riding on the crest of a wave now, and the wave doesn't seem to be shining up. It's good for them. It's good for the Scottish football.
Do you know what I thought? How did Antwerp beat Tottenham? How did they beat Tottenham?
I know Antwerp are decent, but they're just so.
This is what I said to you. I really wanted Rangers to get an English team, because I'm sick of English teams, the way they talk about the Scottish game up here. And what did I say? I said I'd like to see Rangers against Leicester for obviously the Brendan Rodgers thing, like Scottish team versus English team. But Leicester couldn't hold up their end of the bargain, and they're out. So I would like to see him get English.
Tierney take them on.
Simon, it'd be 4-5-0.
By what a game that was.
No, it would generally be a brilliant game.
That Arsenal-Benfica game was what a game.
And I get absolutely annihilated last week for me saying that somebody phoned me up and told me they didn't think Rangers' defence was good. I mean, I get annihilated for that.
Did you pass the messages on to the guy?
Slaughtered the guy, and his first words were, and I went, listen mate, they've went through in Europe again. He went, they've conceded an R2, and I went, for fuck's sake, you get a break. Do you know what I mean? He said, my point's proven. I said, and then so
I know that will annoy them though, because they want to sort of build on defence first before.
Mate, see, to be honest, see, I mean, Rangers are concerned. I look at that Europa League, right? The teams that are still there is big names in it, but I think they could go far.
I think they beat Prague.
I think
if we get to Werner and Jack back, I think they could beat Prague.
It could be some game. I was reading that Slavia Prague averaged 3 goals a game throughout the full season.
Wow.
But see, like Man United, right? I was talking to my mate about this.
Is this the same guy that tells you stuff, or is this a different
guy? It's a good guy, actually.
And what does he say about Rangers defensively?
He said the penalties are a disgrace. I don't want to get into all that. There's no way. I told him that I stopped saying about penalties. It's in football. The reason Rangers are getting penalties is because they're attacking and they're in the opposition's box. He went, I've never seen 4 getting gain in the one round. Forget all that. Certainly no, Simon. But see, just say Man United played, right? You look at Man U's team, right? But there's something about it, I just feel, they have 2 legs. I don't know.
Who?
Man U. No.
It'd be a tough game, wouldn't it?
Be very tough.
I think they would have a bit. I think if they'd have a better chance against like a Tottenham or something, Man U, wouldn't they? You'd like to think.
Do you think they have 2 legs, Man U knock them out?
Aye, Man U.
Do you think Rangers could, but?
Aye, they could, 100%. I think Celtic or Rangers over 2 legs in Europe could beat anyone, but obviously there's going to be a favourite in the game, and I think Man U would be favourites. I've always said that I think they need to be lucky. If they want to go, obviously they got to quarters last year. If they want to go further than that, I think they need to be lucky with the draws they've got. And I think Slavia Prague, for me, Rangers are the favourites.
But have you thanked him for letting Nathan Patterson at the party to go play in the game?
Top man.
How amazing! By the way, I'll tell you.
Did you say him before he left to go?
You told me. I know. You told me that after the goal, he went home, had another party, didn't you? Celebrate that again.
Done it again, the boy.
Same place.
Done it again.
Did you give him a bit of advice before he left the house?
Simon, I'm going to say this, and I don't even want to carry on here for once. I want to be dead honest serious. Dead honest serious. No, see on him, Simon. I'm going to say it. That is unbelievable man management for Steven Gerrard.
No, but for him as well, coming on and doing that.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? But I mean, I said that, and I pulled up McCoist. Nobody will pull up McCoist, and I like McCoist a lot. But the week before the away leg in Antwerp, he sat there and said, "How
looked in the camera and tell him
how will the boy Nathan Patterson be feeling now? Because he knows he would have been taking part with that way because James Tavernier would get injured." And it was the right thing. He said, "You didn't need to come and say that, McCoist." I do really like him, Simon, but he's done exactly what first Rangers player I've ever been proud of. There you go. I was really, really happy for the boy.
Yeah, right.
I was really, really happy for him because he might have honestly felt, what we were saying last week, his career could have been done.
Yeah. No, not only that, you're coming on right and you're thinking, if I didn't do well here, I'm going to get...
Aye.
And he made a difference.
And he was good.
It was, aye.
I don't know if he is good enough for Rangers, but he made a difference that game.
You said the rate him too, didn't you?
I rate him. I really rate him.
Do you?
I think he's very good.
Would you say he's better than Alan Hutton?
No, because he's played
Did you
about
say?
5 games.
Better than Alan Hutton.
But 2-3 years ago, when people used to ask me who's the best young player at the club, I always thought that Nathan Patterson had the best chance, just because his athleticism.
What age
You
is
should say
it?
that
Modern
about,
fullback,
people used to say that about him, thought.
What age is Patterson?
19.
So you were looking at flights to Amsterdam for him, weren't you?
I know. What was he thinking when he was there? No, listen, but what age is 19? Frimpong 19 as well? Was he similar to him?
Is Frimpong 19? Anyway, he's obviously no as accomplished as Frimpong, isn't it? But I think he's coming through the youth academy. I'm always someone that wants to see more youth players coming through the likes of the Old Firm, especially obviously Rangers, and I think he's always been the one that I felt had the best chance.
He's like, realistically, if Tavernier's going to stay at Rangers, right, he's going to play for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Where does Patterson get in? Where does Patterson, when Tavernier decides...
It's not time to push him out, Kevin.
Of course it is.
That's what happens.
Of course it is,
To push him out.
but like, Nathan Patterson could end up getting to the age of 22, 23 and played maybe a handful of sub appearances and his career could pass him by. It's a difficult one when you're young.
That is,
you look at it like that.
See, to be fair though,
if you had somebody ahead of him that was maybe no concreted at the side, you're thinking, I've got a chance of getting in here.
Aye.
Whereas when you've got Tavernier the way he's going now, but then again, injuries, suspensions, things change. And obviously when he gets an opportunity...
He is competing for the worst position on the pitch. Like,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Competing against the captain, somebody that's been the most consistent player for about 3-4 years. See saying that though? Obviously it's rare, but Alan McGregor didn't really break through at Rangers till about 24, 25. He was like on loan for about...
Went Dunfermline, didn't he?
Aye, Dunfermline, I think Forfar, St Johnstone. So he was like 3-4 loan moves. But so I think he's obviously still very early on in his career, but
Europe in the...
I don't think there's any doubt that if Tav did leave or Tav did get injured for a long period of time,
He'd be right in.
that he'd be right in that.
Who were you competing with for that left midfield berth spot?
Aidan McGeady quickly ran to Russia.
We spoke about Motherwell, we said it was a shock. Tony Watt played well, didn't he? He's passed for the first goal. He's went from like a goal scorer, Tony, almost like a...
Firmino, would you say?
Firmino,
Morelos?
Dropping in, wee passes. That's a couple of assists he's had that have been top class.
I think, listen, Motherwell shouldn't be where they're at.
Do you think it should be higher or lower?
Higher. They've got good players, Motherwell, haven't they?
Aye, they've got a good team.
Haven't they?
I think they've missed Declan Gallagher when he's not played, hasn't he?
He dropped Polworth as well, who I like.
Oh,
I think that's because
I
they've
said
got
that to start the year, didn't I? I've
Polworth's
always been a
good,
fan
yeah.
of Polworth. They've actually got a good midfield, to be fair. And Campbell as well.
Boy Maguire's alright as well, young boy, isn't he?
I always liked the boy Donnelly as well, but he get injured for... He's still injured, didn't he?
Simon Donnelly, decent. Right, Stuart Finley's off to the MLS.
He's got
Finley, man. I know you gave it. You said he was going to
What happened to that exclusive?
He was at Tynecastle, I know.
He was at Tynecastle.
He was there at Tynecastle. I'm not kidding on, I got a message saying Stuart Finley is in Tynecastle, so whatever.
Is it true that he failed a medical with Curly toe?
Curly toe, aye. The big jet done it, didn't he?
The Jet.
He was doing a medical with him. Aye, and he said, get out of here, you're going to the Philly.
Did the Jet have the rubber gloves on?
Rubber gloves on, certainly. And I can't believe he's actually turned his back on. Did you see him at Tynecastle? No.
No.
Strange.
But you gave me the exclusive and I was telling everyone.
Telling everybody.
Finley's coming in.
And did you heard anything on top of that now? Is it just what you heard through Paul?
No, truth be told, I honestly heard there was a chance that he could be got to Hearts. And I thought he'd be a good signing,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
obviously went to...
You surprised he's went over to America, Ken?
Aye, too young.
Too young, young. Philadelphia, thought you'd been there. Oh, what a place.
I don't know.
I don't think
he's.
Disagree
I think he had a
Disagree.
Scotland cap a few years ago.
Aye.
Aye.
So basically, we got to the
No, but he couldn't have put
MLS.
it on because he made his ears look even bigger than that.
Obviously, got to the MLS at 20, 26, I think he is. That kind of puts paid to. I know you can still get called up playing with the MLS team, but it makes it difficult. Really difficult. So he's maybe went there for the lifestyle. I wouldn't.
I don't know why, because he's ginger and pale.
He's not
gonna
going
burn,
to the sun.
isn't he?
He's certainly going to go into the sun, that boy. He'll be hiding
He's
from the sun.
still managing LA, so he'll manage in Philly.
I'm actually not, no joke, I'm not, look,
Tanned.
I don't burn.
You've been on a few beds.
No, just COVID.
Oh, he's been on a few beds.
I've been on, certainly, I've been a few beds, certainly. Aye. So
Can you bring that parent to your mum and dad in next week?
we're just...
His mum actually wanted to come on the podcast today, and he would not.
Why not?
She'll start flipping up, fuck that. She'll start
I
flipping.
think you're scared that she would be about. She's more a personality than he is, by the way.
She's mental.
I think that's what you're worried about.
I think she's got to come on.
She would take over.
Will I bring her on next week?
Bring it on.
Right.
What would can you wear like similar outfits?
We'll get some outfit.
Why don't her and your dad?
That'd be good. Get them a kit. Could we get?
Why don't we do that?
Why don't we get them all renew their vows on camera
Wow, and then we did a live photo shoot there with them.
on that table?
Aye.
And then get Ross totally in that.
Get totally involved. This could
yeah.
be sensational.
Cannot wait. George and Susan.
What a couple, honestly.
Are they genuinely that like your favourite couple? And what Jinx made it work for all these years? Passion.
I think they're proud of the man they've
What they
raised.
produced.
I think they've looked at each other in the eyes and said, I mean, look, come on.
Well, certainly, listen,
George.
I don't want to get into it all, but certainly the noise that comes through their room. He's said that's exactly how it's lasted as long as it has, Simon. And I don't want to say too much about it.
Mate, you look like a CBeebies presenter.
No!
That's their tongue on it.
Timmy Mallet.
Timmy Mallet.
It was like,
Come on, we need it.
what was
You
that
can't
show?
have
What was that
either.
show when Kevin Bridges told a joke? Was that used to guns the dads?
Guns
and
a
that?
pedo?
Aye. What was that show? What was that show called again? Payback or something like that?
Mate, that's it.
You're the presenter for that.
Mate, we've not heard you like you can't know what man sing.
My man said I look like Jedward, man. Killed me.
Jedward?
Remember they used to wear the suits and all that?
Better
I mean, that's just meant to be like class. It's not meant to be a CBB presenter.
Bit of Sinatra in that suit.
Mr. Tumble.
Oh well, Stuart Finley's moved to America, so Frank Sinatra, New York or something.
I think the old saying is, I think it's got to come naturally, or it can come really awkward, can it?
Well, when he's asked you to date, you immediately get awkward, so
Aye.
I don't think you're going to give your best performance.
No,
straight
exactly. I think that's got to come.
How come you've got half your shoe on, half off?
Maybe when I'm at the place, yeah.
How much of a blow to be a command at Kev losing the big man? Yeah, he has been very good for command. let's be
Fantastic.
He's been good on the park. After part shite. So, no, he's obviously a blow because he's a big stalwart centre half. He's consistent. You know what you're getting for big Stu Finley. And it must be a move side down to like just family reasons and taking the family out of this fucking COVID pish and away to America. I wish him all the best. Hopefully he gets plenty of game time, but I just think he's too young.
No,
I think he could have done it in 3-4 years' time.
I would advise any player, certainly, unless you're going to be playing for top, I would recommend players to go away.
So see, if you had the chance, Paul, if you're Stuart Finley, if you had the chance to go to Philadelphia Union or a Hearts or an Aberdeen?
Fast, mate, America all day long. It's
Did
an
you?
unbelievable lifestyle, Simon. It really is. And
But
If
if
we're
you're going to
Stuart
get the
Finley-
Scotland squad and stuff like that playing in Philadelphia?
there's no been getting in it.
I know, but that's what I say, if you went to like an Aberdeen and done well or a Hearts and done well, might maybe more chance of getting in the Scotland squad.
Maybe, mate.
You fancied America yourself, didn't you?
America.
I know, at one point in my
point,
career
yeah.
I would like to play there, but I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. If you get a chance to go to Hibs or Aberdeen or...
I think if you're 30 in your 30s.
I do think the MLS is getting bigger.
in the USA,
I was born in the USA. I was born. I've actually got a good voice, haven't I?
Aye, but why did you
I
stop?
like when you go,
Shut up,
boom.
That's his cum face.
It wasn't the grass that tickled your arse, it was my finger. That was fucking terrible, Simon. Moving on.
What's
Simon.
another USA song? What's the one in Rocky again?
Oh, but I went Apollo Creek in
Live
it.
in America.
What a film.
No, I didn't know that one.
America.
Oh,
I feel good.
what a film.
Brilliant. Right, talking about moves, Alex Songs came out this week saying he's moved from Arsenal to Barcelona. I met Barca's sporting director and he told me I would not get to play many games. I didn't give a fuck because I knew that I'd become a millionaire. When Barca offered me the contract and saw how much I would earn, I didn't think twice. I'm being totally honest. When you played Went where most money was, nah?
See, to be honest, the way
Did
I
you
look
know
at it is,
I've done a money move before and I would never do it again.
Where to?
Fucking Azerbaijan on loan, mate.
Oh, right.
I would never do it again.
I did.
Azerbaijan's a bit different.
I mean, I know he's got to fucking Barcelona and I don't know, earning double his wages or something, it's a bit different.
Even if you know you're not going to play, still.
Song though, like, he was
player.
fucking frightening.
I know,
He
good player,
came through it at Arsenal, he was playing at the start. I've
done alright,
I've got to go against you in this one. I think there's different levels there. I think his...
So say he was at Arsenal on 60 grand, right? And he's playing, and Arsenal says we're going to give you 80 grand and you're going to keep playing, or go to Barcelona
Surely
on
that's-
120 grand and you're not going to play as much. Would you stay at Arsenal?
Sure.
No, I would still go to Barcelona and back myself to play, but I don't know, it's the way he's sort of bragging about it and that, I'm not having that.
Not having it, nah.
So I think, like, so see, like Jimmy Bullard's story one, like, that's bang on. He's not going to turn down double his money when he's going to play every week and have a laugh about it. You heard that story?
Nah.
When he signed for Hull and he went into the to sign the contract, and he'd obviously, him and his agent had agreed a deal at Hull of 15 grand a week, and he's went in to sign the contract and he's like, oh, just make sure everything's alright, and he looked at the contract's at 30 grand a week, and he looked at his agent and he's like, oh, can me and my agent have a minute, like, and just talk over last minute things and that. So he's like, I won't give a minute. He's like, my agent, like, it's just fucking 30 grand a week. He's like, oh, fucking sign it quickly. No, I was quickly sign it, so he signed it and ended up on 30 grand a week. After they agreed a deal at 50.
was that no Seth Johnson at Leeds as well?
He done that as well, Kev. I remember he done that as well.
I did that.
So I remember it was Jimmy
you
Bullard
were
told
in.
the story in I'm a Celeb. I said, how the fuck's that even happened?
I know. I think, Simon, if you're going to a club like the level we were at, right, you're just run-of-the-mill players. If we're on, say, a couple of grand a week and somebody offers you 5 or 6, you go, I was the same, I went to Coventry. And I remember what Sunderland offered me for the 2 years and then what Coventry offered, and I was like, fuck, I'm off. Mad with fucking all sorts in my head. So I was away, but his level, I totally get that, because I know 60 grand a week, still 60 grand a week, but 60 grand a week to 120, 130, that is like life, 60 grand a week's life-changing money, but 120 grand a week, that's just serious.
Oh,
And
if
if
you
you
red
think-
panties like in my house, if I got off 120 grand.
No, you'd be too tired. You'd be straight your bed, wouldn't you?
No, I can go, mate.
Aye? Oh, yeah.
Do you not get pure bored there, man?
I slap sewing machine.
I hate it.
You don't?
I do. I just get pure bored there.
What about the money thing, Paul? Do you get to get your take on this?
I mean, surely 80 grand a week, if you're on, I mean, these players, right, I don't ever get this, they're playing with Arsenal's or your Man City stuff, whatever, like, they're getting 80, 90 grand a week. Why would you then go away to sit on a bench and maybe go for 140 grand more? Surely 80 grand's unbelievable money.
Did he play it at Barcelona?
Aye, he did play it.
I played a few
Good to be
times.
back.
But you know you're not going to start with their midfield ahead.
I just think if when Alex Song first broke through, because I remember it was like him and Diaby at Arsenal, they were absolutely flying.
They were
if you
like
keep-
Nord, didn't they? They were like Nord at the start.
like NordVPN and Diageo centre mid, what a midfield partnership, and they keep doing well on that money, you're going to end up getting there anyway and playing. But I just think it's risky for players. If you make money moves in football at a certain age and you go and you don't play, see that 60 grand that you were on before.
I couldn't have stopped
Play
picking.
for 3 years.
I couldn't have stopped picking about money Phil when I played. See,
I was like that.
we played the League One playoff final, mate, and all I could think about is my money's getting doubled if we win this game. I actually couldn't have concentrated on the game, mate.
But I think that would be, I mean, I don't know what to talk
I mean, after a game, if you know you
No, but
you
even
get
during it,
relegated-
I was thinking we need.
Nah, I would never think
I was like that. I was
Like during a game,
I
you'd be
didn't
thinking about.
mate, I was
Mate.
looking at houses on right move at half time when we were up.
Fuck off.
Mate, I honestly, like, because I grew up with no money, like fucking didn't live that life, and then all of a sudden, someone saying to you, you're in the squad today, right? And if we win and you get yourself on, you're getting a 5 grand win bonus, I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, 5 grand. I was just thinking about it. I was just like, always I wanted to win, but I was thinking, can I get the bonus? And then, like, the things they throw at you, look back now and you think, like, it was great back then, but now it's irrelevant because I don't live my life around money, but
Mate, I'm telling you, Gordon Strachan must think I'm the biggest Celtic fan of all time. Because see, when we were on the bench, it was 1,200 quid a win. See, if Celtic scored, mate, I'd be going off my tits on the bench.
Aye.
Oh, yes.
1,200 quid, mate. You used to fucking
Money's
laugh.
not everything, mate. You know that.
I know, but when you're young,
you're young.
I think it's more when you're older as a player.
I get both sides to the story, but
I think it's maybe when you're older, Andy, you start to think more money. I think you're young to show up, I want to go to the top, but then you come to a realisation, Simon, about fit where you're like, I'm a number at these clubs. Fuck that, I'm going to sort myself for the rest of my life. I think that's right. But you see enough in the game when you get a bit older. When you're young, you're naive, Simon.
No, I wish I wasn't like that, but I'll be totally honest.
I think a lot of players that they certainly are.
I always thought that the money thing, and I was eager for it because I thought, see, like, so now, 39, doing open goal, got a job. Rangers, Sunderland, Coventry, they don't look after me now.
The Jet does.
Jet does.
Jet does.
So I don't. I didn't ever look at thing and think, they gave me a wonderful experience and an unbelievable time through my career, but I knew by taking money off of them that in the future they're not going to be looking after me if I fall in hard times, whatever. So milk it for what it was worth because.
No, there's a big difference, Si, what you're saying about than what he's saying. He's just going to a club. No,
but it's Barcelona you're going to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like going to Barcelona, unbelievable. He's almost just saying, "Fuck it, I'm not getting fuck. I want the money."
If a player know
I think that's a bit different.
Yeah.
Sunny day, are we all going to be walk?
Aye.
Iced coffee.
We'll go and try and.
Slaney, you'll need to up your game of what's happened before.
I know.
Why don't you go and put the finish
right down? We'll walk a bit like
I think you'll bounce back. I think you've got bounce back
There's
ability.
a cartoon, I know that you know what I mean.
No, I'm changing. I'm going to come. Listen, I'm going to come.
Big,
I'm just going to be all black next week. Si.
Or black?
Aye.
I think you'd
Do you know what I mean?
I've never really seen you wear black.
Apart from my tux.
Oh yeah, tux.
Wee tux.
Remember the player that played for Chelsea and Liverpool, midfielder that had the hair all shaded?
John
Morelos. No.
Morelos.
No, you think he looks like him?
The hair cuts like him.
Thanks, Simon. Right, Kelvin Grove Park it is.
Let's go.
Let's go, boys.